This is the Symphonium Titan, and it is one of the most unique bass focused IEMs I have heard in a while. It's pretty good. Now, normally there's always some drawback or sacrifice when it comes to the bass heavy sets because, well, they have a lot of bass and it takes away the audibility, the clarity from the vocals, or like the smaller details like treble extension, right? However, the Titan still has a good amount of bass. Like, it's a bassy set, definitely not neutral by any means. It's not like quite Scarlet Mini's like amount of bass, right? But you do get a good amount of bass. Even though it is a bassy set, you can still hear the vocals pretty clearly without too much loss in the detail or the extension. Now, is it the cleanest or most open when it comes to the vocal extension like the Monarchs, the RS5? No, it's a bass set, but it actually has better extension than the Dusk, which as a bass set is really good, so that was a nice surprise. But the main reason you're here for is the low end, and boy does it slam. It's very well controlled like the Hype series, so it doesn't bleed into the mid-range, but the mid-bass is still tactile and textured with good note weight. Not the warmest, but it has enough mid-bass for an engaging sound when it comes to the drums, bass guitars, and male vocals. The sound feels very full and powerful. The sub-bass also extends pretty deeply, very rumbly and nuanced. You can hear the bass notes very clearly, and it does not distort the vocals like the Scarlet Minis. Again, very well controlled, but still gives you that impact and authoritative feeling in the notes, and the overall bass, the sub bass, the rumble is very nice. Overall, the Titan is just a well balanced bassy set. It reminds me of the Monarch Mark III's, but just with more sub bass and not as clear and detailed as the Monarchs, obviously, because that is a cleaner, more vocal focused set, whereas this is a bassy bass head set. But the good things don't stop just at the mids. The treble is also well extended and not sharp and peaky like the Maestro and Scarlet Minis. The Titan doesn't have many big like peaks and dips, although there is like a drop off after 15k, but it does come back up again to give you that like air and open feeling. So it's not the end of the world. It's not a treble headset by any means, but for bassy sets, like a bassy sound signature, the Titan does both the mids and the treble very well on top of the slammy high quality low end. Now, the crazy thing is the IEM I'm currently working on, one of the tunings has a very similar graph to the Titan, and I made this profile without like ever having heard or saw the Titan's graph. I'm telling you guys this because in case my bass setting does get approved, I don't want y'all thinking I stole from Symphonium, since I did send my tuning in before I had the chance to listen and graph the Titan. The Titan would have almost been a perfect bass IEM if it weren't for like the peak from 5k to 8k, because on certain tracks with very forward snares like Hulu for example, the Titan does get a little bit sharp in those regions, and I find it to be a little bit too much and I have to turn it down a bit with certain hip hop and K-pop and J-pop stuff as well. But at mid volume, it should be fine. Like, it sounds very exciting, like more exciting because of the 5k and the 8k, like a little small boost there. The scaling is good, above average, but the Titan is more of a mid volume set because of that 5 to 8k boost. You can't really like crank it up too much on certain tracks without like the snares getting too much, but it is still smoother than the Maestro and the Scarlets, and I would take these over both of them. But that aside, overall it's great, it's fun, engaging, it has a big sound, the headspace feels open, and most importantly, the Titan is not overly warm or lacking extension in the other areas. So if you want a bassy set but still fairly well balanced, then the Titan would be the best pick under $1,000 as of now. But before we move on, this video is sponsored by you guys. You guys know the drill. I buy most of the stuff I review in order to try to stay unbiased as much as possible, but I'm not rich, I can't buy everything, so I do need your guys' help, and you can help me by becoming a channel member. It's only $5 a month. I do regular giveaways there, but back to the video. Now, as for some comparisons, if you want a warmer, smoother sound, the Doscinco is still one of the best warm like bassy IEMs you can get right now, and game for most people in that area, and it scales better as well, more than the Titan. Not as rumbly, clean, and open like the Titan, but the Doscinco is fuller, it's smoother, it's warmer, and it works better in my opinion for like hip hop, rock, jazz, and metal, and it's also 3 times cheaper. As for the Maestro Minis, the Titan is just a direct upgrade to those, less fatiguing in the upper mids and the treble, while still being engaging, not as sharp. The stage feels bigger as well, and overall, I would take the Titan, as both are going for that balanced bassy sound at mid volume, but the Titan just does it better than the Maestro Minis. Now, if you do want the most sub bass, the most rumble and the most slam, and you don't care about the bass bleeding and distorting the mids and the vocals, then the Scarlet Minis are still a fun option. They're not balanced by any means, but hey, at least you know what you're getting into, when you're buying that fat bass shelf. And versus the Grand Maestro, the Titan is just a mini version of it. It's like 3 times cheaper. They graph and sound very similar, with the only difference mainly being the Grand Maestro sounds more like energetic and the treble slightly more V-shaped, which means more perceived treble detail, but it is sharper and not as smooth. In terms of variety and overall resolution, the Grand Maestro is better in that area. You get a lot more tuning switches, a lot more options, and it has ESCs and better drivers. But if we're talking about like low end only, the Titan would be the much better buy, you know, coming at $1,000 versus almost $3,000. And because the low end tuning and the base quality is very similar on the Titan, I don't think you necessarily need to get the Grand Maestro if you're looking for base alone. So if we're talking about overall value and like bang for your buck in terms of low end, the Titan is like the more better value wise base set. And then lastly, if you compare to the Evos, the Titan again is a much better value with no atrocious driver flex. Not as resolving as the Evos, but it's better and more balanced base wise, you know, because of the tame upper mids and, you know, more sub bass extension. It's not as sharp as the Evos, I would say. And the Titan does work better with hip hop and rock versus the Evos, which can get a little bit too aggressive because of the extra upper mids. But hey, Sam likes it. So if you do like a V-shaped bassy sound, then the Evos are still good, but I'm not sure if I would pay like $3,000 for them, right? But hey, it's your money. Me, I would just grab the Titan. But yeah, that aside, the Titan is definitely the benchmark for like a bass head IEM, in my opinion, under $1,000. I really enjoyed it. I definitely recommend it. But yeah, I hope you found this review to be helpful. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see everyone in the next one. Shout out to Jeff Young, RoarX Cat, Dom Q, Gatamino Baldo, Star Buccaneers, Joel Pink, Wipe Your Buttocks, The Skull Status, B_Urac, Mystic Spoon Attack, Cyborg, Oh Really, Walker Standard, User _YT_158, Ernest, Contain Guava Juice Gains, Patrick Bell Cell Kel, Rosa the Calf, Perijat, Polly J, Mr. Gorillas, Anto Risto, Giz Seng Young, Tamat Pafrase, Ed, Harry, Christopher, and Federico. Thank you guys so much, and sorry for butchering any of you guys' name. Bye bye.